Still spinning. All right. Hello. I think we've started. Awesome. Hello and welcome to Climate Lounge, a vibe shift for your day. We have a lot of fun people on today. We're going to be talking about the Indigenous Screen Office with special guest Isabel Ruiz. But let's go around and each person can introduce themselves. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Amelia Winger-Bearskin, your host. I'm Seneca Cayuga Nation of Oklahoma, and we love to do live streams. And this will also be recorded and syndicated on wampum.co. It's my podcast as well. So you can watch it in multiple formats: audio, visual, music. All right, I'll pass it to you, Isabel.
I love that. I love all the formats available. Sego, hello. My name is Isabel Ruiz. I am based in Montreal, Quebec. I'm in Canada. I was born and raised here. My dad is Mohawk and Scottish, so I'm a part of the Mohawk Nation. I'm a member of Six Nations, and I'm Turtle Clan, and my mom is Spanish. I'm a program manager at the Indigenous Screen Office, which I can talk about in more detail and about why I'm here today and what I'm here to talk about. But I'm so happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Passing it over to Noor.
Yes, hi. I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Noor Bataine, and I am the co-founder of One of Many Studio. It's a design and consulting studio where we create experiences that help people connect with what it means to be a future ancestor. I'm also a proud member of the Talk to Me About Water collective, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming, Noor, and welcome back to New York. She's now in Haudenosaunee territory at the moment, so welcome back.
Yes, thank you for acknowledging that. I am joining from Haudenosaunee territory, and I was in my ancestral homelands, today known as Jordan, and it's really good to be here.
Thank you so much for joining. I'll pass it over to Eamon, and it looks like Winger-Bearskin just joined as well.
Ooh. What up, everybody? It's Eamon O'Connor.
We stopped hearing Eamon.
Yeah.
Hey, Martha.
Hello.
Yeah, we're having some mic difficulties for Amelia.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Awesome.
We can hear you now.
I think we're back.
Yeah, I'm writing, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm Eamon. I'm hanging out. I'm shifting the vibe. You already know what it is. You already know what to do. Let's go. Go Hornets. Go Jets. Go Pilots. Woo!
Cool. All right, Martha, welcome. Would you mind introducing yourself? We're just starting.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Martha Bearskin. Are we doing like formal introductions?
Vibe at how you feel. But we got another Haudenosaunee on the call, Isabel Ruiz. So
Awesome. Well, I'm Seneca Cayuga Nation, Deer Clan. Let's see. I am a creative technologist, a data storyteller, a computer scientist, a caretaker of the land, a future ancestor. For my day job, I work at the USGS. I work for the federal government, although I'm not here on any official capacity. I'm just here as Martha Bearskin, hanging out, talking about water.
Yeah. So what do you do at you're a water data publicator? No, that's not the real title.
Yeah, I work in the publication of water data specifically is what I've focused on my career, as well as data modeling. But right now I've moved into the production side and the publication side. Sorry, not the production side.
Awesome. Well, thanks for keeping our water data stream coming. All right. Well, awesome. So today we have a special guest, Isabel Ruiz, who is from the Indigenous Screen Office. And for a lot of our viewers, especially in the United States, we have viewers all over the world, but they may not know about the Indigenous Screen Office. And would you mind, Isabel, telling us a little bit about the Indigenous Screen Office and then also the special reason why you're here today?
Yeah, of course. I love talking about we call it the ISO, the Indigenous Screen Office. The Screen Office emerged around 2018 after generations of advocacy and work in the Indigenous film and television industry, to have control of our funding, to have control of representation of our peoples. And so the ISO is a product of a lot of that advocacy. Initially, it was designed to kind of control funding from the big funders in Canada and administer that funding. But as it evolved, it became its own funding and advocacy organization. So we're a national organization. I'm, like I said, in Montreal, Quebec. I have colleagues in Winnipeg, Christy Asu, who is the director of funding. She's out in Campbell River on the West Coast. We have people in Toronto. We have, like a big team, and we're all over, and we're all from different nations. And we have a lot of funding programs. So Indigenous companies, production companies, and individuals can apply for funding from the ISO to create their projects, get their projects funded. And then we also have a lot of other sort of opportunities and streams within the organization. So today I'm here to talk about our partnership with MIT, which is really exciting. And this is one of the initiatives that we do that's sort of outside of our traditional funding. And yeah, we can kind of talk about this partnership with MIT. And this is not the first time that the ISO has partnered with MIT. And Amelia has some background knowledge of the previous iteration of it, which I kind of like to start with talking about that and how it went. And then maybe we can talk about what's coming up.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So at MIT, the co-creation studio, which I think Nora got to come to our book launch in New York City, and Martha's gotten to spend a little bit of time with the co-creation folks. They are working with a couple of different groups, the Open Doc Lab, and looking at how people are telling stories with emerging technologies, and also under the framework of co-creation. So rather than we're pretty familiar with collaboration within the arts and storytelling and filmmaking practices, but co-creation it's an alternative to the single author concept, which of course those of us who have worked in this field, who are Indigenous, kind of know everything is co-created. It's just kind of a new maybe way or format for people to understand how you could co-create with a nation, with history, with ancestry, with other people. It's not necessarily about attribution or copyright, but more like what do you do, for instance, if you were to tell a story and that story belonged to many people in an Indigenous nation. The old school Hollywood framework would be, if I made a movie about that, then now I kind of own that story and no one else in that nation can make, which is ridiculous, right? So how do we think about what are the governance structures or the equity structures you do in order to collaborate with communities and with cities and with people to tell stories? So that's a co-creation studio, a little bit about us. And I was the first fellow at the co-creation studio while I was a Mozilla fellow, and we worked with the ISO to bring many different types of people at different stages, mid-career, senior and junior people who are thinking of working in emerging technologies or who had been, directing wonderful things with VR, with AR, with AI. And so that, of course, happened. We were hoping we would all be in person, but that happened during the pandemic. And so we had a really wonderful time over multi-platforms on Zoom and other things like that, bringing together students and mentors and different types of Indigenous storytellers that are working in and around and with new media. So we're going to be back at it again. I have the webpage up for the let's see here, for the US based call. I think rather than sharing my screen, I might just read it because it's kind of hard to read when you share your screen for people. So this is the link to at least the US based call. And what it is, it says the co-creation studio at MIT Open Doc Lab is collaborating with the Indigenous Screen Office, ISO, to offer an intensive 4-day incubator for mid-career and established Indigenous screen-based artists with ideas for immersive and or interactive projects in development. So you don't need to be experienced, but it would be helpful but not required if you have a background in immersive or interactive technologies. And the focus of the incubator is to support creators developing projects using emerging technologies such as AI, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, augmented reality, game engines, robotics, or using other base sort of old tech screen technologies like multi-channel video, console video games, VFX, 3D web, social media storytelling, transmedia storytelling, etc. So surprise us with your ideas. So they have 2 spots reserved for US-based Indigenous creators, and so there's a link at the link that I gave you to apply for the US-based call, and you can also apply to the Canadian-based call at that link as well. Part of what you get is you get to be part of the delegation, you get a modest honorarium, and you get free travel and accommodation to MIT and Cambridge, Massachusetts for 3 nights from April 23rd to April 29th. And there will be, exchange, mentorship, discussions with other people who have been in this field for a while. You will be able to share works from film festivals that, with VR, it's kind of hard. You have to actually go somewhere and put on the headset and experience it. They're not always, on Google Play or Oculus Store, so you can download and watch and play them. So in this way, we'll be able to share a lot of work that's come out of the co-creation studio or other places as well, where you can kind of put on a headset, try them out. So that's kind of so sorry. I'm gonna pass it to someone to ask a question. I'll see why my dogs are growling. I'll be right.
I'll just add quickly for the Canadian side, my apologies to our American relatives, but for the Canadian participants, there's also a $20,000 contribution from the ISO to all of the participants for research and development of their project. And I would put the link to the ISO website for the call out, but I don't know why I don't have access to the comments. But I see the ISO in the chat, so
okay, great.
Maybe you'll hear me. Maybe it'll happen magically.
Is it this one?
Yeah, there it is. Okay, great.
Thank you. Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, so that's wonderful. So $20,000 of support for each project. That's amazing. You can also apply together, right? You don't have to be an individual. Your team can apply up to 2 people, I think. I don't know. That's on the American side. That's the same on the Canadian. All right, great.
I'm on the Canadian, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So feel free to apply together and yeah. Any other details that I missed on the MIT side about what is there any other things? Funding is good to know, always good to know.
Yeah, funding. It's pretty straightforward, the application process about what you need. Again, like Amelia mentioned, these projects are in development, but something that Katerina, who is spearheading this project on behalf of the MIT side, Kat Cizik, we are expecting things to change. So, we ask for sort of like a pitch deck of the project that you have in development, but that's all going to change throughout the incubation process. So if those ideas are kind of in flux or they're really new and you're anticipating like big changes and you're excited for what you might encounter at the incubator that'll influence your project, that's great too, and can be kind of explained in the application for sure.
That's really helpful to remind people. It does not have to be a finished thing. It's trying to help projects launch, and the focus of an incubator is like the way you incubate an egg. It's to help you grow and find nourishment and warmth within your community. And at the moment in the U.S., I think this might be. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it might be the only incubator for Indigenous immersive interactive projects right now. And so, would really love to, vibe with y'all, and I'm going to be there and I'll be hanging out with everybody. So love to hear more about all the projects. So yeah, keep them coming. So Noor and Martha, have you either ever been a part of an incubator before? Have you ever had experience with them? Noor, yeah. What did you think of the incubation experience? Did you feel warm and nourished?
Yes, I think what I appreciate about incubators is the group of people that that you end up being immersed with for a short period of time. It's usually intensive, and there's something that magical that usually comes out of a very specific, intentionally selected group of people that come together with a very jam-packed period of time. So I'm a big fan of incubators.
It's awesome. Yeah. I think you did. Which incubators have you been a part of? Speaking of incubators, we'll throw all the information out for people. I know I've been a part of a couple. I think you've done a little bit with New Ink, which is a fun incubator in New York City at the New Museum. And that
Yes.
works with kind of immersive and new media as well. That one was a lot of fun when I did it. Any other ones that people should know about? I know IM4 Lab and the West Coast of Canada has a really fun short incubators and workshops and things like that. I'll put all those links in them. And Martha lives in St. Louis. They're starting to get some incubators started. Have you kind of ever gotten to meet with some of the people? What are those usually focused on in St. Louis, Martha?
Honestly, I haven't been a part of a lot of the incubators here, but I know there's a space that is, I think, started or in conjunction with Microsoft. They had opened up a campus here that's called the Cortex, I believe. And so I know that they have a lot of different incubation for, I don't know, different kinds of things. I know there's like a push to bring more tech into St. Louis. So I think that's kind of the focus. But I haven't had a chance to be a part of one, but it sounds really fun and I would love to.
Yeah. And you got to do a game jam this year at Imaginative. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, well, we got to be judges for that. And so that was a really fun experience. And it was this, I forget exactly what they were designing the game for. Was there a specific?
I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was. There's
Oh,
always like
anyways,
themes,
so
yeah.
game science. And so it was really fun to get to meet with all those different teams and see what they had come together to do. And it was really fun to get to see just like native people, teens, younger people, older people kind of all coming together and making stuff from this interesting, I don't know, for me, a more interesting point of view.
Yeah, that was the In Digital Space. Was that part of the In Digital Space at Imaginative?
It was, yeah, it was the game jam. So it was kind of like a hackathon, right? Where it was a short amount of time and all of the teams had to build a game, in a short amount of time and all on Discord. And we had like video sessions with that. It was really fun. I really liked the one that was about it was kind of like a Cooking Mama game, but everyone's making corn soup. It was like really amazing.
I liked that one. That was fun.
There were so many interesting ones of in space and with cosmology and storytelling. It was really wonderful. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm trying to find a link to that one, but I'll find that.
Yeah,
it was called the
RSO,
Land Jam, right?
It was called what?
The Land Jam, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I think it was Land Jam.
Yeah. Oh, I'll find it again somewhere. Some links come to me, some don't. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun for sure. Did you get to go in person this year, Isabel?
Yeah, the whole ISO team was there. We partnered with Imaginative we sponsored the In Digital Space.
Oh, nice.
And walking into it for the first time was so amazing with kind of like the podcast set up outside the room and then going in and incredible VR projects and the gaming, and it came out so beautifully, and that was such a dynamic part of the festival. But yeah, the whole team was there throughout the whole festival.
That's awesome.
And it was so fun. And everyone was so happy to be back in person, and so many mentions of it being Native Christmas.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What were some of the projects you remember from there? Because I didn't get to see them in person.
I mean, as I'm realizing is common when you work on the funding side, what happens at festivals is you actually see like so few works. You actually catch so few works. But I saw some of the short programs, which were really great. I tried to show up for some of the projects that we funded. So we have partnered with, it's called the Actors Academy, Taproot Actors Academy, which is a project started by Tantu Cardinal in Kikino Métis Settlement, which is in Edmonton, Alberta. And in their community, they started this youth program for both like acting lessons and then all the behind the camera positions as well. And then they create projects, and the shorts that came out of that youth program screened at Imaginative. So seeing those, maybe I can try to send you a link or add it in here if I can. But those projects were incredible, and they were written and sort of like conceived of by the youth in this Métis settlement. And then seeing them at Imaginative was really, really exciting. So that was something that really stood out for me.
That's amazing. I would love to see them. That's awesome. I'm really excited to hopefully go this coming year and to see more of those shorts as well. So one of my favorite parts of any film festival are the shorts, and especially the student shorts. So it's like I like the animations as well. I'm not in Sundance right now, but I can't wait to watch. I'm doing the Explorer Pass online, and I'm really excited to see, Erica Tremblay as Seneca Cayuga from Our Same Nation, and she has her first feature film debut, Fancy Dance, and we're really excited to see that. I haven't already purchased my ticket. I can't wait to watch it on Roku. So it's really exciting. Are you going to be watching some of the Sundance things, or are you at Sundance right now as well?
I'm not. I'm not. I wish I was there. Have been seeing another project that I wish I could watch online. It's by Ty Leclerc. It's called Headdress, I think. He's Mohawk from Ganawage. And he was a writer on Rutherford Falls, I believe, as
Oh, awesome.
well. And I think the premise of the short is it's a native guy at a music festival who's encountering like a white lady in a headdress and like
Amazing.
sort of what comes out of that. I just saw the trailer and I was like, I need to go to Sundance. I've also been seeing all the photos of Anne Hathaway, which is a little bit of a on the side, but also want to see her in real life.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm have major FOMO from watching all of the imaginative people and hanging out at Sundance. I'm like, oh, amazing. Next year I usually go. I'm kind of glad to be in the warmth right now, but yeah, it's so exciting. There's so many great Indigenous shorts and features that are dropping this week. So highly recommend everyone check out those Explorer passes. $25. You can watch a bunch of shorts. For another 20 or 25, you can get a ticket to see Fancy Dance or other links to shows. I made 4 seconds of film for Fancy Dance, which was the virtual reality scene. So you can still be part of like normie cinema if you're a weirdo virtual reality person. If you have really genius friends, I guess. So really exciting to see what's going on there. I can't wait to. It's all kind of kicking off this weekend, so we'll see more next week. Are there any other things that have anyone else been following certain projects that are debuting at Sundance this year? Nor, do you have any friends who are over there?
No, not really, not this year. But congratulations. I'm so excited to see Fancy Dance.
Yeah, I'm really excited too.
And your 4 seconds, that sounds incredible.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe it'll be like condensed to 1 second. You never know. The final cut can or cutting room floor could be there too. So we'll see. But yeah, it's really exciting. Lots of really fun, cool projects this year, and we'll hang out next year. Maybe we'll vibe with a climate lounge or something like that. We'll keep it going. One day we'll all be in the snow together. We'll bring a spell. We'll do a live stream from Sundance.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, and we'll all, of course, see each other in Cambridge in a little while as well. Are you coming to MIT in person as well?
I'm gonna be there.
Yes.
I'm going to be there. This is going to be a huge learning experience for me personally, I think, as well. The co-creation methods that Kat has developed alongside people like you, Amelia, I think is going to be huge for me. I'm not, super familiar. And so being able to see and learn is going to be huge. I was going to ask you more, talking about being in an incubator, if there were things that you were like, I wish it had been like this. I wish we had been able to have more downtime, or as we're kind of developing the program and the plan, I'm always trying to get feedback from people who go through these kinds of things.
I think that's a great question. Can you remind me how long the incubator is? Like
it'll be 4 days. 4 days.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to speak about my experience designing somewhat of a residency, but very much operated like an incubator last year in the Wadi Rum Desert. And we're actually doing it again this May, also in the Wadi Rum Desert. And I think one thing that I learned from that experience is that really, like, all the designing work that you put into it, it's only like half of the work, because it's kind of like building the infrastructure, and then you let the water like flow, and the water flowing is basically the participants that are going to come and engage with what you've built. So it's always an act of co-creation, that's for sure. all the work that you put in is only 50%. It's so much going to depend on how people show up and engage with what you've created. And I think the more intentional you are about the process and about hearing also from people along the process, like what's working and what's not working for them, if that makes sense. I know that's kind of general, but those are some of the things that we reflected on in creating the first residency incubator that was 9 days. So yeah, 3 days, 4 days is, I think rest and pause and time to reflect is always so valuable, right? And I know, Amelia, you've participated in I think like every incubator or residency that's out there.
I'm an incubator hoarder, I think.
Yeah. So I'm curious to hear from you too, like what are the things that that are valuable for you in the process?
I think the first immersive incubator that I went to was the New Frontier Story Lab that Kamal Sinclair was the director of, and Ruthie Doyle was the assistant director of it. And they have so much love and care just in who they are and how they are in the world, that I always felt really safe to be vulnerable, which, you have to be kind of vulnerable if someone's telling you this isn't working, and it's really hard to hear that sometimes about a project you really care about, but you actually need to hear that, like, this part isn't working. And sometimes it doesn't mean it's not working because it's wrong. It means like it isn't in the right shape yet, or it should come first and not second, or it doesn't mean like scratch it and erase it and throw it in the trash, but even sometimes when you're in that vulnerable state, even hearing someone say not first but second is like devastation, lying on the floor gonna cry, and I've seen it happen. So much emotions run really high at those. So having them just be so loving was really wonderful. But they're kind of maximalist, and they will book you from like 5 a.m. to 5 a.m. every half hour if you let them. So I'm always like, less, give me less, less, because I'm a introvert, even though I'm very like talkative and social. I'm very introverted. I need time to process, or else I kind of get up into my head and then I can't think anymore, and I just kind of like shut down. So I always say give 2 tracks, like have a social happy hour and then tell people it's okay at the social happy hour at the same time as this booked time period of rest and relaxation solo back in your room. And you kind of say that it's the space, rather than saying, oh, you can skip anything, like you can be the bad child and skip. Not everyone is comfortable being the bad child and skipping. So you say at the same time as social hour is calm, quiet, introvert time, both are totally acceptable and are scheduled, And I think that really helps people, because a lot of introverts sometimes just don't want to break any rules or say no or be rude, but yet they do need that time. So that's like always what I try to suggest. And then for accessibility reasons too, some people have sensory disorders. It's important to give them actual space. That when we did something at Mass MoCA, Ruthie Doyle was in charge of doing the AOP fellowship with Sundance, and we talked a bit about low sensory spaces at Mass MoCA and where we could find a low sensory space. And there was a dance space we'd agreed to only have natural light in, so no overhead light, and that was always the kind of low sensory place that you could go lay in a bean bag. You could play piano by yourself if there wasn't someone else. Sometimes I would be laying on the floor and I'm like, low sensory, please no piano. But like, people, we would all just kind of work it out amongst the weirdo quiet people that needed to take a break. So usually spaces are pretty accommodating with like, all right, let's just find a low sensory zone, and that's the place that it's quiet zone. You go in there, everyone knows to kind of no chit chat or low chit chat, and just kind of low light. And that's been really helpful. That's actually where I met Noor was in my low sensory zone I built at the Four Freedoms Congress in Los Angeles. It's fun to have a low sensory space, and we actually did chat quite a bit, but we chatted in like this like kind of quiet zone way, right? So yeah, I don't know. I'm a very big proponent of chill zones, as we all know.
Yes.
That's really interesting. Thank you both for sharing. I think too that those downtimes, if you want to call it that, probably have just as much of a meaningful impact on the project overall when all is said and done. The time to kind of like allow everything to wash over you, and for ideas to kind of solidify or just relax, it feels completely a part of the process as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Martha, you helped us build a chill zone in Mendocino. You want to chat about that a little?
That was a great chill zone. That is the chill zone I want to bring everywhere with me all the time in my back pocket.
Yes.
It was beautiful to tent. We were in the redwood forest, and we had a beautiful tent with pillows and mats and all types of things to lay down and be comfy. And then we were surrounded and delighted by a sound bath. And that was a beautiful experience. And coming from someone who does need to have those like relaxing spaces when I'm in conferences and such, it was very nice to have a place to go where you can just kind of decompress. And like you said, think about stuff and process things. You're in any kind of conference or incubator or anything like that, you're getting a lot of information all at once. You need some time to think about that. Otherwise, I feel like you go home and then you think about all your questions you wish you had asked and you wish you had said. So I think having some of that time to process it's important.
Yeah. And in that space, Nora did an embodied land practice. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Nora?
Yes. Wow. It feels like so long ago that we were all together in the redwoods for some reason. But it was a really special experience, and one of the spaces where it talked to me about water really like came together, and gave people the taste of what it means to come together and co-create really. And so what was really cool about the sound bath also, I just want to share, is that we crowdsourced sounds of water from people that were coming to DWeb, the DWeb camp, the conference that we were at, and so in addition to people being immersed, and Devin, another member of Talking About Water, and so the Damon they worked on making sure that the sound bath sounded like a sound bath. And I had the privilege of being able to, in addition to that, and share the embodied land practice, which is a part visualization, part meditation, about designed to help people really like slow down and connect with what it means to be on land. And we also use a visualization through water. So it's it was really cool to be able to share that in that context, and really to create this zone for people to really slow down to what matters most, and to connect with where your feet first touch the ground is where what needs to be acknowledged first, in these really like hectic and busy experiences and conferences.
Awesome. Very cool. And I'm going to share really quickly. You just published your, oops. Yep. There we go. I've got it. We've just published your residency call. So I was going to see if we can, let's see
Yes.
if we can as well, since we're doing all of these.
Awesome. Thank you
Can
so
everyone
much.
see
Yes.
that? Yeah. So everyone can also apply for this residency too. This will take place in Wadi Rum. Here's some images from last year.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing this. I'm so excited that Talk to Me About Water is going to be in Wadi Rum this year. It's I can't wait.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Is it okay if we share your video?
Yes, please.
All right, great. Let's see. Let me know how that looks.
Looks perfect.
For our audio people who are only listening, I'll read the caption. So, to slow down to the speed of present, to connect with the land, to deepen our creative practices,
خوفك للابد عمرك وهم بارح لسه كنا نلعب بالحارة غني برا اللحن وارقص برا الرذم الدنيا مش شطارة
And there's Autumn Brion doing a performance.
وسع فكرك لما تسهل وتنسهل رابع مش سهل ناسي انك انت مجرب من قبل رابع مش سهل اسمع واغرز رجلك بالرمل كل هذا حلم وجودك فيلم بلا بداية بس بضل
And that's from one of many studios. Thank you so much, Noor.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's
Yeah, it's really exciting. Let's stop sharing. There we go. We're back at it again. So that's another residency you can apply for. So many fun things you can apply for on this stream today. Come with us to Massachusetts, come with us to Wadi Rum, and learn more about the ways in which gathering together and sharing the vulnerable parts of beginning to make work and think about it. This is kind of how work is made, right? It's made in community. It's made with other people. It's rarely made alone. So yeah, come vibe with us. We'll help you make your projects. You can help us make ours. Yes,
Yeah.
Talk to Me About Water is going to be there this year, which is we're 4 of us. We're missing Devin, who's probably building a flying car right now, but he's also part of Talk to Me About Water and one of our sound artists in the group. So we have about 8 minutes before we wrap up. I thought we would play with one of the AI tools. So Isabel hasn't done one of these AI tools before, so I thought we would play with a really silly one, like, for instance, let me get the right one up here. There we go. This is our this is our Talk to Me About Water. Here, I'll hide this one now. I will also hide this other banner now. It's hard for people who are watching the podcast. Okay, so this is our Discord here of Talk to Me About Water. And we like to play with Midjourney just to vibe out and find out what the somewhat incredibly biased hive mind thinks about things. So it's using GANs and deep learning to and stealing all of our art and artwork from the internet to generate new images. So if you could ask a thief of imagery any questions, what would you ask it? Or prompt. We like to do prompts, so we can this is the way it works, is we kind of, you can give it a whole bunch of different words. They could be descriptors like photography or in the style of anime or in the style of Mondrian or things like that. Or you could just say words. As you see above, we just gave it 1 million words that were also generated by an AI, and it gave us this image. So do you have any words that come to mind? We can all shout out some words, things that we'd like to see created. I always like to give it really weird native prompts and see the whoa, like what? You could say Mohawk. What do you think, Isabel? We'll let her drive since it's first time playing.
I got caught up in this paragraph of an alien water world.
See, this is the vibe.
What should we say? Well, we have 3 hodes on the call right now, so we can start with something like that.
All right.
Not to be exclusive, sorry, Noor.
No. It's an honor to be amongst you.
All right. Any other descriptors? And also, did I spell everything right? I'm totally dyslexic, so.
All right. We'll see what it comes up with.
All right. Anything else? Any other descriptors? Geniuses. Genius. Love. Nature.
Lunar New Year.
Lunar New Year. Vibes.
Vibes. What was the location of the residency that you just looked at? What was it called?
Oh yeah, Wadi Rum.
Wadi Rum.
Oh wow, okay. This is gonna be interesting.
Let's go. Let's see it. Waiting to start. Me and Eamon like to use a lot of these in our classes. Just it's an interesting way of talking about tagging, collective unconscious. Whoa. Oh my gosh, I see 3 figures. All right. We'll see.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh my God.
It hasn't fully loaded. Oh my gosh. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. Is it done yet? No. We
Wow.
gotta keep going.
What? I did not
Whoa.
see this one
Okay,
coming.
it's done. It's done. There we are.
Not bad.
Look at this play button. It has a play.
Wow.
It's like play. Press play on that one.
oh, so
But-
that's not actually a video. That's just like
No,
it
it's just put the
somehow.
play button.
It just
Oh
thinks
my
that's
god, this is great.
It just thinks images
Wow.
sometimes have play buttons on them, which not
I mean,
untrue.
Sure.
Wow, look at us. We look kind of
Yeah.
whoa. Okay, tag yourself.
I'm the play button.
Yeah,
Love it.
I'm the fire. Oh wow, that's amazing. That's
Mm.
wild. Okay, all right, we got one. All right, nothing. So we got time for one more.
Well,
That was pretty amazing.
Not over this.
fascinating.
Because I resisted, like I didn't partake in any of the like AI portrait kind of craze that happens, especially on Instagram. And so I've never had any AI generated images of my own creation. So I'm like, this is my first time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty
Yeah, I mean,
interesting.
we have like lots of critiques, and it's also really fun and problematic. Like, obviously, all these things were trained using a lot of fossil fuels, and so we shout that out. Like, someday we're going to find good ways of training and using technologies that honor and do not deplete the resources of our planet. And also, it's using stolen imagery, non-consensual imagery, all these things. So we like to use them though to kind of interrogate what is this, so that we understand it, we know it. We're not necessarily like propagating it, although maybe we are, but I don't know. It's how we look at technology though. Like, we criticize it, we try to use it. I asked it to do to tell me what a pretendian was the other day, because I was like, I think ChatGPT is kind of a pretendian, and it was like, I am not familiar with this term pretendian, please define it for me. And I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that.
I'm sure somebody will train it on a
Somebody will
database
do
of that
that.
information eventually.
Not me.
That is so funny. I wonder if you put in, like images generated not using fossil fuels, not using
Oh, yeah.
unauthorized artworks, like what would come up?
Okay, this is what I've typed. Images not using fossil fuels, not using the Earth's resources, in harmony with the planet land back. Okay, this is
Really
we're gonna see.
really
I have
good.
no idea. Oh, it might get really weird, but yeah, these are the things we do. We ask it a lot about water, because we're trying to see, we're trying to change the way, or not change the way, promote different ways, diverse ways of talking about water, having water conversations about global water issues in our daily lives, form a daily practice of that. But we're also like, what is this biased collective unconscious think about water? And we've asked it a lot of questions about water. Some of what has come back has been really terrifying looking, so we're wondering about that. A lot of what ChatGPT tells us is pretty non-controversial. Okay, all right, interesting. Okay, it's a little bit clip arty. I say mids.
Yeah.
mids. I did ask it the other
Awful.
day. Here, I'll show you. We'll try it again. I'll just show you what I did the other day. I said indigenous activist woman, and it gave me really interesting, like, what it thought was the, like, it gives you these kind of stereotypes, right? And feeds them back to you, and it's like kind of fascinating. Of course, it's also really bad at writing. Oh wait, no, I should say this. Okay, so it does this usually first. If you say indigenous activists, it usually does a type of old style painting, like as if we exist in the 1800s or something. And then it also, I'll have to modify it by saying street photography.
Mm.
So, okay, that's very like hope poster, right? Like Obama era, like
Mhm.
Shepard's Ferry kind of hope posters. And then if I do street photography, it's really bad at doing words. And so it'll have these like funny like pseudo language on the signs that the people are carrying. It's like, what? But yeah, this is like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty.
pretty standard. A little
Mhm.
clip art as well, I would
Very,
say.
yeah, very clip art, you know, you're like, all right. But oh, did that one not go through because I didn't put imagine? Yeah. But yeah, it's very interesting to see what it has sourced and reduced and kind of comes back with so much editorial imagery of Indigenous people. Kind of gives you a lot of stereotypes really quickly, which is interesting to me.
Mhm.
This one kind of looks the same. That's the other one. We'll see what happens.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Really weird. That one looks like Mother Teresa. I swear it was like Mother Teresa at first, and then it's like fading in.
Like the zombie Mother Teresa? What is this color palette?
I just said Indigenous activist woman street photography. I don't know. Okay.
Oh, I guess they.
Okay, they're
it
black
should
and
be
white.
black and white.
All right.
At first, it looked
Huh.
pretty gnarly.
Weird. So it is the real pretending. It's like weird. Really weird. Oh, you gotta go. All right. Oh, it's also 11:50, so we gotta wrap up. Well, thank you everyone so much. We'll stop sharing and doing weird AI things now. Thanks so much for joining us, Isabel, and playing with weird AI for a couple minutes, and maybe you'll have a hot take for the incubator at MIT. Be like, look,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
played with it now, gone down the rabbit hole. These are my thoughts. Most of the thoughts are like, what?
Yeah, most of the thoughts is just like an insane expression. Like,
Yeah, head exploding.
but thank you for having me. Seriously, it was
Yeah.
really wonderful to talk with all of you today, and I can try to share my contact information. And if anyone has questions about the incubator or the ISO, I'll make myself available.
Oh, thank you so much. And
Thank
thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you. All right, everyone. It was a great Climate Lounge today. Yahweh for joining. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.